Rinpoche tempe trinle yarngoda belge drolor zampe zeprache palden lame shabla solvade Omo a guru vajradara sumatimo nishasane Uta vardani shri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Oma guru vajradara sumatimo nish Uta vardani shri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Oma guru vajradara sumatimo nishasane Uta vardani shri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Oma guru vajradara sumatimo nishasanek Uta vardani shri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Oma guru vajradara sumatimo nishas Uta vardani shri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Oma guru vajradara sumatimo nishas Uta vardani shri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Oma guru vajradara sumatimo nishasane kar Uta vardani shri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Oma guru vajradara sumatimo nishasane kar Uta vardani shri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Oma guru vajradara sumatimo nishas Nishri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Oma guru vajradara sumatimo nishasane Uta vardani shri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Dagi jetsun lama tuje che nyamda dala tuje sikso so gebe shesan dala tendo so oyon sunge nawa tsedo so seji ningne solwa debe tse dechen korlo viso lekshune Yila sambe dede malupa geme lunge drupra chingelo Tsoni sodan diktun shakpe tse dunge namke yinso lekshun Labchen tsoni yonso tsopa dan cheranye dun chamra chingelo Chancho parge nyinsen tukun tu nyu peme siudro lekshun Chancho drube gegen kunshishi dungen dela drupra chingelo Dagi lona chola chokpa dan chomi samchur ngenpa shiwa dan Chodan tumbe dudun malupa beme lungi drupra chingelo Dorna tingne tsiraba tamche dan techi pardu nekav tamche Rese kyamne lama kele me tukche chingi dalas Gongyab drewe nyamta dachala Jetsun lame tuje rab gongne kudan sungi nawa dralme tu NgalSo nyongwe kesan toprasho kewa kundu yanda lama dan Dralme cheki pela longche chin sadan lamge yonten rab Dorje change kopa nyur tobe sho Pakyuke akudan dagi alu Pakyuke sundan dagi nga Pakyuke tukdan dagi yi Ten yerme chikto chingi lo Makyuke kudan dagi lo Makyuke sundan dagi nga Makyuke tudan dagi yi Ten yerme chikto chingi lo kyapsu chi dagi jinso gibe sonam ki drola pinchira sange drupare shu sange chodan tsogi chonam la jancho pardo dani kyapsu chi dagi jinso gibe sonam ki drola pinchira sange drupar shu sange chodan tsogi chonam la jancho pardo dani kyaps dagi jinso gibe sonam ki drola pinchira sange drupar shu.
In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment. With the practice of generosity and the other perfections, may I obtain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Tamche keto dagi chöten tamche keto dagi chöten. Buongiorno.
Good afternoon. A few years ago, I had gone to Thailand, where, together with Lama Rinpoche, we would go every year to a very important ceremony, an enormous monastery called Dharmakaya, just outside of Bangkok, a Theravada monastery. Even though we're from different traditions, of course, the same root of Buddha Shakyamuni, but different approaches. The vice abbot of the monastery always asked me to give teachings on Vajrayana Buddhism, and it was quite a special experience, a different kind of experience. And after having done these days of teachings among the other monks, let's imagine that the monastery itself is the members are 4 million, and there are about 300 who would come to the lessons. But at the end, one of the most beautiful moments was having this encounter one-on-one with the vice abbot Lumpo Tata, who also came here to teach, and he said that his spiritual master, the one who founded this monastery, was actually a woman. She was a nun, and she was a disciple of a very important master, and they started in 30 and they became more than 4 million. It's an amazing place. He told me that the first time when they began, the abbot asked for a piece of land from the government for religious purposes, etc. And they chose a place that at the time was very far from the city, and he asked for 2 square kilometers because he said, "Oh, I have this and that kind of project," and started walking around thinking how he wanted to do. And then he looked around and there was no one behind him, in the sense that it was too big of a project. But this aside, he said to me, my teacher, more than the more than teaching, what leaves the greatest mark is meditation, because we can understand many things, but at the end of the day, often we forget. Instead, when speaking is a different, is a deeper experience that leaves a greater mark. I wanted to do the practice of self-healing on this Saturday. That's also tomorrow. We'll have the introduction to Buddhism, so that we can actually sit down and experience, have this experience together. Often, more than, I mean, the time we spend together, most often, it's not teaching, but it's covering what we already know, but reflecting on it, elaborating it. There's an inner process that happens, an inner elaboration, reflection. It's a kind of, we could say, an analytical meditation that we do together normally. But it's also very important to, every once in a while, to sit down and meditate. In reality, it's fundamental, and one of the fundamental reasons is because we're made mostly of habits. And knowledge in and of itself is something that has a relative value. And in these modern times, and in this direction where we're going, and I talk about this, the planet, it becomes more and more clear that it's easy to access information of any type, but the main problem, the lack that this planet has, is not knowledge, but people who have reached a state of balance, peace, love, gratitude, equilibrium. I mean, this is what we need. Satisfied people, balanced people, this is what we need. And to get there, we need also to train in these states. We need to generate what's called conscientiousness, generate in our mind, inside, what we already know. So what have the masters done in these past centuries, starting with Buddha Shakyamuni? They took, among other things, they took certain states of consciousness that are important to develop, and they translated them into paths of recitation and visualization, so that we can familiarize ourselves with these states. The objective is not reciting something. The objective is not doing a formal meditation. The objective is generating love towards oneself, towards others, generating a correct view of reality, a healthy view of oneself. But to do all of this, we need to familiarize ourselves, to get used to these certain types of consciousness. The right Gom in Tibetan, which can be translated as every once in a while as meditation, or to meditate, and actually the more correct translation would be familiarize more than meditate. And it starts from the very simple principle, which is the more we repeat something, the easier it becomes. Even on an emotional level, the more I react in a certain way, the more the more I want to react in that way, both for positive things and negative things. Someone who's not used to complaining about things and starts complaining before he knows that he's complaining all the time. Someone who's used to or is aware of the presence of others. I mean, there are people who, for different reasons, in relating to others, they see only themselves, and so it's really difficult to see others. When we train in seeing others, then little by little it becomes easier and easier, and one realizes that beyond oneself there are actually others. This is just one example, but there are thousands of different examples we can give. So, starting from this principle, if we generate a certain inner state artificially, I mean, it doesn't come spontaneously, but we generate it with awareness. The more often we generate that state of consciousness, the easier it becomes to actually generate that state of consciousness. The objective is to have that state of consciousness spontaneously. But until we get there, we need to repeat it and train. Let's say that the path that Buddha transmitted can be divided into 3 points. Listening, which is about getting information, understanding, elaborating that information, and meditating or familiarizing, taking that information and making it so that they're no longer just concepts, but that they are states of consciousness that arise spontaneously. So along our path, listening and understanding, I mean, the part of listening is quite short. Understanding takes longer, but meditating is much longer. If we were to divide it into percentage, it would be 10% listening, 20% understanding, and 70% familiarizing, meditating. Unfortunately, we have this idea that once we've understood something, we've got there. But the point is not about understanding, it's about becoming. I don't need to understand the importance of loving others. I need to love others. I don't need to know why it's important to be patient and to love others. I need to be patient. There's an enormous difference, and that's why over the centuries masters have developed methods to help us train. The technique that we use and that we are going to use now, transmitted by Lama Rinpoche, known as NgalSo Tantric Self-Healing, the self-healing practice. And then this practice is called self-healing, but at the same, Lama Ganchen was both modern and extremely traditional. And if you look at more antique texts, you would see that when masters would teach things, they would all have the same main heading, title, and then subtitles. So that's why we have self-healing 1, self-healing 2, self-healing 3, and we can go on and on and on. All of this within the same concept which starts with this fundamental principle, which is our happiness and our suffering depend on us. A little bit like it's said that someone went to Buddha and said, "What do you have to say about the gods?" And at the time in India, we're talking about Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, and Buddha said, "I'm not here to talk to you about the existence or the non-existence of one God or many gods. I'm here to tell you that your happiness and your suffering depends on you, and I can tell you what you can do to be better." So what can we do? There are There's many things, but this is part of our self-healing, that we need to take care of ourselves. And even the term self-healing shows us a fundamental aspect, but not easy, but aspect of ourselves. That the starting point of self-healing and the whole path is about stopping to victimize ourselves. If I recognize that I need to heal myself, I need to self-heal, means that I need to take responsibility myself, for myself. It's like I've said many times, if there's someone who acts in a certain way that I think is wrong towards me, and I think it's happened to all of us, that we've found that we think that someone is acting wrong and incorrectly towards us. So that's not my problem. Why isn't that my problem? Because I can't resolve that. A problem depends on there being a solution. If there's no solution to it, it's not a problem, it's just a fact. And how others treat me is not something that I can resolve. The others, that one who's treating me in that way, he or she can resolve that. But how I react to how I'm being treated, that's something I can take care of. That's something that I can resolve. And if just understanding this changes so much for us, because there are so many situations that we don't agree with, that we would like to be different, rightly so. But this doesn't mean that we can change. We can change the way we interact with these situations. And when we recognize our own responsibility, and we change completely our perspective by looking at where we can change things. So where can I put my energy? Where can I put my energy? The things that I can actually change. This is the basis of the starting point of self-healing. I mean, have you ever tried to change someone? Has anyone ever managed to change someone? I've tried and it doesn't work, and we all know this, and even though we know it, we keep trying. Now I think I've learned, but we can't change others. The only change that we can really make are changes inside. Of course, we can influence others, help them change themselves, absolutely. But no one has this ability to go inside someone else and change them. So it starts with us. Not with an attitude, not a selfish attitude, like I take care of myself and only myself. No. But I mean, I can't help you. I can't help you become a more patient person if I myself am not. I can't help you be at peace with yourself if I'm not at peace with myself. And so it starts with what I can become to then be able to influence others to reach the same state. And this is also part of the same self-healing. The practice itself is divided into two main parts, or even in three if you want. Let's say two main parts, but the first one, it has two parts. The first part is called preliminary or preliminary practices. Sometimes, erroneously, this idea comes that given that it's preliminary, it's not important. The practice, the actual practice, that second part is more important. A little bit like, I mean, just imagine a house that we're going to build. And to live in that house well, you need walls. You need windows and doors. You need a roof. You need a. But what would happen if I put energy into all of that, but I don't put energy into the foundation? I say, well, what do I need a foundation for? I buy everything else. I pull it up. I build it, and what happens to the house? You know, it cracks. It falls down. Foundation is the foundation is something that is not seen, but without which the rest can't exist. So our foundation are the preliminary practices, something that afterwards it's not something that you always see, but they're always present to uphold the rest. So preliminary practices, it's not a recitation, even if there is the recitation together with the visualization. They are actually states of consciousness that we should induce so that we can familiarize ourselves with them. It's just just a few words. It's based on two parts. The first part is understanding well why I want to meditate and generate the correct motivation. And the second part is about generating the causes called merits, the basis to be able to generate certain states of consciousness. I committed myself before I came today to not go into too many details. I really want to sit down and meditate together, so I'm holding back. But we start from this principle. We need to ask ourselves, why are we here? I sit down to meditate. My first question is, why am I seated here? What is it that I want? And it's a question that seems quite simple, but it's so important because according to the answer, we're going to go into one direction or another. Our motivation is that which gives the direction to the action that follows. At first, we do some meditation on our breath to bring our mind to a calmer state, to eliminate inner dialogue. And then we ask ourselves why we're here. And in asking why, we should actually do a brief analytical meditation on the Four Noble Truths and get to the conclusion that in reality I want to get out of my own cycle of suffering. I want to be happy. I recognize that suffering and happiness are realities that depend on an inner reality and not on an outer reality. And as a consequence, I want to create the causes that bring wellness and avoid those that bring suffering. So I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha because what I want is to get out of this so-called cycle of suffering. I want to eliminate my ignorance and jealousy and envy, dissatisfaction, etc., etc. I want to be at peace with myself and others. After that, we do the generation of the so-called bodhicitta. At the end of the day, do I want this only for myself, or do I care also about others? And seeing others, allowing ourselves to see others, naturally we get to the conclusion that happiness of others around me is just as important as my own. So I deeply want to help every being that I meet to get out of his own suffering, to live in a state of peace. But to do this, I need to develop my own qualities. And at this point, we generate the motivation. I want to develop my own qualities. I want to overcome my so-called defilements, my conditionings that generate suffering. Why do I want to do this? Because I want to help others do the same. This is my main motivation. It's a deep feeling that should be generated. It's said that this feeling, when it is generated correctly, it's similar to a mother looking at his own child in the middle of a dangerous situation, about to drown in the water or in a burning house, and has that urgency to want to save him. And the mother would say, whatever I need to do, I'm going to do it, is ready to do anything necessary to save her child. And the only thing we can actually do, really do, is to generate our positive qualities. After this, then we talk about the accumulation of merit and purification, and we ask for blessings. And I'm not going to go into details now, but at the basis, we're creating favorable conditions, necessary conditions to be able to generate certain states of consciousness. This is the preliminary practice. So I generate motivation, I accumulate merit, I purify negativities, and I receive blessings. After this, the actual practice begins. The actual practice is made up of recognizing our qualities and identifying ourselves with these qualities, because one of the most important things, something that we've talked about many, many times, and we'll keep repeating as long as it's necessary, is at the basis there's aspiration, there's desire, and it's extremely important. It's really important for us to have clarity about where we want to go, who we want to become, who we want to be. Even now, some of us have been together on a trip in Nepal, going to the various temples that are there. 90 plus percentage, 90 plus percent of the temples in Nepal are based on the 5 Dhyani Buddhas that we see here. A Dhyani Buddha, and together with the 5 great mothers, represent the living beings. We're human beings, so we think we're the center of attention. So human beings, let's say, with their qualities developed to their maximum potential. So who do I want to be? More than putting an objective of, I want to be a famous person, or identifying ourselves in a place or in a position, or owning something, or identify myself actually doing something. Because in our culture, unfortunately, we've developed very strongly this idea that we need to do something, because for life to be meaningful, we need to do something. At the end of the day, I've heard people say, oh, I've done nothing today, or we have this need to produce, to do, to get, to obtain, to possess. When the objective that is transmitted in Buddhist teachings is not about obtaining something or doing something. It's not about owning something, but it's about being. Our objective is becoming stability, courage, generosity, love, patience, compassion, stability, satisfaction, concentration, wisdom, coherence, peace. Our objective is to become these things. And the 5 Dhyani Buddhas and the 5 great mothers represent these qualities develop to their maximum potential that we want to become. So in the practice of self-healing, what we do is that we gradually generate an identity where we recognize our own potential and our own qualities. And gradually we link our we detach ourselves from our mental defilements, which doesn't mean that we pretend that they don't exist. I'd like to talk more about this, but I said that I'm going to hold back because it's not the moment. But it's not that one pretends that he doesn't have anger or doesn't have jealousy. One recognizes and chooses what he wants to develop. One doesn't hide from himself, but one chooses the one to follow, the point to follow, the aspect to follow. So we listen, we recognize, and we choose. And when we choose to nourish the generosity that we have, naturally, the more I feed generosity and identify myself with this generosity, the more generosity I'll have. The more love and compassion instead of, the more I nourish love and compassion, the weaker anger becomes. So we familiarize ourselves and we identify ourselves with these qualities in this practice. And then there's the final part of self-healing, which has to do with generating states of consciousness on a non-conceptual level, states of love and wisdom on a very deep level, but now we're not going to get into the details of this, where it's correct also to it's right to do parts of the practice even if we don't understand. Sometimes people say, why should I do this? I don't understand it. Number one, by doing, we're giving ourselves a direction. Number two, we start creating familiarity. I'm not there yet, but I imagine that I'm there, and little by little we create imprints and we create familiarity. All meditation practice, all Vajrayana meditation practices can be divided into 3 levels, which are what to recite, what to visualize, and what state of consciousness I should develop. The recitation helps the visualization, and the visualization together with recitation helps generating certain states of consciousness. It's clear that when we begin and we're new, we give emphasis to what part? To the recitation. And if I say, here you should be, in this part you should be generating love to yourself and love for others and correct view of reality, maybe someone new would say, how can I manage that? It's like Buddha apparently said that to some of his disciples said, refuge is about recitation. To other disciples, he said, recitation alone is not taking refuge to refuge. And then to other disciples, he said, it doesn't matter what you recite. What's important is the state of consciousness that you generate as you're taking refuge. And these 3 disciples come together and they ask, well, who was right? I'm supposed to generate a state of, you say that I need to generate a state of consciousness, and then the first said it was enough just to recite. And the explanation is that if he had gone to that first group of disciples and to tell them that they needed to generate these states of consciousness, then they wouldn't have even started. But instead, reciting, am I able to recite? Yes, I'm able to recite. And then gradually one creates familiarity and then can generate the necessary state of consciousness, which is the objective. But we need to respect where we are. In the practice of self-healing, together with recitation and visualization, we have gestures, physical gestures, mudras that also have value. And there are also the various visualizations. There are many different ways of doing the practice of self-healing, longer or shorter. And it's said that when we're at the beginning, we should start in a middle way, not too long, not too short. And once we have familiarity, we should do it in a more detailed way, going into all the details. And once we're familiar on a detailed way, then we should do it in a shorter way, but maintaining all the elements of the longer practice. So now we'll do the practice in the middle way. It will be guided, but without going into too many details. We can do the practice of self-healing in many different ways, with the mudras, without the mudras, reciting or singing. You can actually do the practice in silence. You can do it in many, many different ways. And now we'll do it in the most common way, which is with the mudras and the various mantras and the recitation with the melodies. And we'll do it together with the preliminaries without going into too many details of the if there's someone who doesn't know the practice of self-healing and doesn't feel comfortable making all the gestures, all the mudras, there's no problem. You can do it without the mudras. Don't feel obligated that you have to recite the mantras, or one can also just follow even just the mudras without reciting. What's important is being here. You don't have to do anything. And obviously, there's the path of the practice. There's a beginning and an end. And there's a whole science, let's say, a study of the whole path. Another aspect of the self-healing practice is that it's good for newcomers, and it's also it's also good for those who are about to conclude the path and about to reach enlightenment. And there's no hurry to understand. We should little by little allow ourselves to experience the practice. We sit in a comfortable position. With our back straight but not tense. We'll start with the preliminary practices, and then we'll follow with the actual practice of self-healing. Our shoulders are relaxed. Our head is slightly bent forward, with our mouth relaxed, and our eyes slightly closed, looking downwards. We're aware of our own breath. we allow ourselves to be present in this present moment. We rest our mind on our own breath. When we inhale, we gather up the tensions of body and mind, and when we exhale, we melt these tensions, letting them dissolve into the space around us. We inhale and exhale. In the space in front of us, Guru Buddha arises in the aspect of Buddha Shakyamuni, inseparable from our own Guru and from every holy being. Guru Buddha smiles at us. Looking towards us, we're looking as if we're looking into a mirror. We see ourselves. We see a strong desire to be happy and to not suffer. We see that as long as we'll be taken by fear, by anger, by hate, by dissatisfaction, and by every other form of mental defilement, we'll continue to act based on these and we'll continue to suffer. We strongly desire to get out of the cycle of suffering, and for this we desire to reach a state of peace, satisfaction, harmony, wisdom, and love. To do this, we have no other choice but to transform our mind, familiarize ourselves with our qualities, in other words, practice Dharma. We ask Guru Buddha for help, that he may guide us along the path. We take refuge in the Buddha, in the Dharma, the actual practice, and our spiritual company, the Sangha that accompanies us along the path. From the 5 chakras of Buddha, Guru Buddha, come light rays that absorb into our respective chakras, bringing us his blessings. We look around and we see an infinite number of beings, our family members, our friends, our acquaintances, people that we interact with, those who are nice to us, those to whom we have attraction, to those we are indifferent, and even those for whom we have aversion. We see that each one, at the end of the day, desire happiness in the same way we do, and we allow ourselves to see them. For a moment, we allow ourselves to go beyond our own selfishness, and from the depth of our heart, we say to every being around us, your happiness is as important to me as my own. Your suffering is as important to me as my own. I'll do everything I can to help you be happy, and help you not suffer. We recognize that to really help others who are around us, to help them reach a state of peace and happiness, to not suffer, the only thing that we can do is interact with them, and interact well with them. We need more wisdom. We need more love. We need to be what we want to transmit. We desire greatly to help every being get out of his or her suffering, and to do that, we want to become a Buddha ourselves. We desire for ourselves to develop our qualities to their maximum potential.
Sangye chedan so ke chonam la Chanchu partu dani kyapsu chin dagi jinso gipe sonam ki drola pinchir sangye druparashu sangye chodan tsoki chonamla chanchu partu dani kyapsu chi dagi jinso gipe sona drola penchir sangye druparasho.
In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment. With the practice of generosity and the other perfections, may I obtain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. We deeply desire that every being be happy and that has the causes of happiness, that every being be free from suffering and the causes of suffering.
Tamchen dewa dan dewe gyudan dembrai kyurchi simchen tamche dunga dan dunga gi gyudan trawara kyurchi simchen tamche dunga mepe dewa dan mi trewara kyurchi simchen tamche nyerin chada nidan rewe tan nyomla nepra kyurchi simchen tamche lusim gi dunga le soshin trayun lusim dewa dan dembra kyurchi simchen tamche NgalSo topchin china nuchu koryo tanshin tsangma ne gyurchi simchen tamche dan zambu linge kendro tat chinangi shide dan tukun dembra kyurchi.
We deeply desire that every being live in a state of joy, that every being be free from aversion and attraction, that they live in a state of equanimity, that every being lives in a state of health, physical and mental, in a pure environment, and finds himself in a state of peace, inner and outer peace, and to help every being reach a state of Buddhahood. We desire to do that, to reach Buddhahood as soon as possible. Now we will do the practice of self-healing, NgalSo Tantric Self-Healing. Guru Buddha in front of us dissolves into a beautiful golden light that comes towards us, enters through our forehead, fills up our central channel, expands throughout our entire body, and from our body expands to the entire universe. Everything, every being dissolves into light, as do we. From an infinite luminous emptiness, the universe appears. We find ourselves in a beautiful place, a pure place with forests and snow-capped mountains and peaceful animals. We have a strong central channel and two side channels, and in the space in front of us, an ocean of offerings appears.
dil tangyam bendorye ranshin chambra ne gyurchi ladami chepetse masum shamda yeke trula kunsan chetrin laname namke kanguen kyab gyurchi omo namo bhagavate benza sarva pramadan tata gataya arahate samya sambudaya tayata om benze benze ma tetsa benze mahavidya benze mahabodhi chita benze mahabodhi mandupa sangramana ben sarva karma avarana vishodana benze svoha concho sum kedem padam sangye tan chan chuba sempa tam che ki chingi labdang tsonyi yon su tso pe nga tang chen bo dang che ki ye nambra tak chen samgi mi kya pe top ki te shin ni tu kyo re chi.
In the space in front of us, above the ocean of offerings, appears Guru Buddha, seated on a beautiful throne with a lotus flower, a lotus seat, and a sun and moon cushion. The Guru Buddha is in the aspect of our own Guru, inseparable from all of our masters, inseparable from all holy beings. Guru Buddha smiles at us. From his 5 chakras, there are the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. From the depth of our heart, we ask all holy beings and Guru Buddha himself, this wisdom beings, to come to this place to bless our body, speech, and mind, so that we can develop our qualities for the benefit of all sentient beings. From the depth of our hearts, we make requests, and as light rays come from our chakras to all the holy beings, asking them to come to this place. Guru Buddha and all the wisdom beings accept our request. An emanation of each one of them comes here to this place, absorbing into the Guru Buddha visualized in front of us. They come like a great rain of wisdom beings. Some are as big as mountains, others as small as atoms. And each one, without exception, absorbs into Guru Buddha in front of us. Our commitment being, or rather our visualization, becomes inseparable from every wisdom being.
Guru Buddha Bodhisattva Dharma Pala Saparivare Ehya Hitsa Hong Bama Ho Yeshe Panama Tamse Pada Nisume Parekyu.
In the presence of Guru Buddha, we pay respect as we prostrate with our body, speech, and mind. We make external, internal, secret, and emptiness and offerings of realizations. We openly admit every non-virtuous action that we have done from beginningless times, and we commit to not repeat them, and we ask Guru Buddha's blessings to have the strength and the clarity to not repeat such actions again. We rejoice deeply for every virtuous action, done by the holy beings, by all sentient beings, and ourselves. We request Guru Buddha to remain with us until the end of samsara, to stay with us with every thought we have, every word we say, every thought we have, everything we do, everything we say. We ask him to guide us for every moment with the Dharma. And we dedicate all our merits that we have done, that we're doing, and that we will do to great enlightenment of ourselves and others. From the depth of our hearts, we ask Guru Buddha to bless us, to bless our body, speech, and mind, to bless our 5 chakras, so that we can develop our qualities to their maximum potential and help every being get out of his or her own suffering. We offer the mandala to Guru Buddha, offering the entire universe as a sign of request of blessings. From the 5 chakras of Guru Buddha, light, rays, and nectars emanate, white, red, blue, yellow, and green in color, that absorb into our respective chakras, bringing us his blessings and creating within us favorable conditions to develop our own qualities to their maximum potential. the purification of the 5 elements at our 5 chakras. We purify space at our crown chakra with the sound of E, creating the favorable conditions for the other elements to be purified. The wind blows from below above, at the height of our secret chakra, entering into our central channel. The purified wind blows within the central channel with the sound of Yam, purifying the fire, the sound of Ram at our navel chakra. The fire blazes and grows, purifying the yellow earth with the sound of Lam at our heart. The earth heats up and purifies water, the sound of Bam at our throat. The water evaporates, going towards our crown chakra, where it condenses and then comes down throughout entire body like a rain of nectar. And as the nectar comes down from our crown chakra to our throat chakra to our heart to our navel to our secret chakra, it goes into all the secondary chakras and fills up our entire body, generating a deep feeling of bliss that takes up every space within our body, and we experience a deep feeling of bliss. In a deep state of bliss, of body and mind, we observe clearly that every phenomenon that surrounds us and appears to us as being autonomous, independent, objective, but in reality, all phenomena are interdependent. They're subjective. And so They don't exist intrinsically, objectively, independently as they appear. All phenomenon are of the pure nature as being empty of intrinsic existence, and so am I. The entire universe around us dissolves into light. Gradually, we lose the perception of our surroundings. Earth dissolves into water, and we lose contact with our sight. The conceptual mind gradually ceases. Water dissolves into fire, and we lose our hearing. Fire dissolves into wind, the wind into the space of consciousness. Our five senses cease. We enter a deeper state of consciousness, beyond our five senses. We experience white vision, red vision, and the black vision of near attainment. So our subtle mind of attraction and aversion gradually dissolve, and we enter a state where there are no specific thoughts or emotions. There's no attraction or aversion. In the black near attainment, black vision, there's nothing other than an infinite emptiness, as if everything were just switched off. And like the very first rays of sun that shine after a long dark night at dawn, our very subtle mind manifests, and a beautiful clear light manifests, arises, that gradually covers every aspect of reality. There's nothing other than an infinite luminous emptiness, empty of intrinsic existence, because it's interdependent, inseparable from a deep joy and bliss. And we are this union of bliss and emptiness. We're clear light. Inhale and exhale. From the very subtle state of clear light to be able to interact with beings, we reappear. We reappear in a gross body, and our environment reappears. And we have a gross body. We have a strong central channel and two weaker side channels, and 5 energy points called chakras at our crown, our throat, our heart, our navel, and at the base is of our spinal cord, the so-called secret chakra. In each one of our chakras, a lotus flower appears, symbolizing our channel, our energy channels perfectly balanced. At the secret chakra, there's a green lotus, a 32 petaled lotus petal. At our navel, a 64 petaled yellow lotus flower, and 8 at our heart. At our heart, there's a blue 8-petaled lotus, and at our throat is a red 16-petaled lotus, and at our crown a 32 a white 32-petaled lotus. In the lotus flowers, the seed syllables of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas arise, the essence of our qualities that we want to develop. Each seed syllable is like a point of light that vibrates. At our crown, there is a white Om. At our throat, a red A. At our heart, a blue Hum. At our navel, a yellow Tram. And at our secret chakra, there's a green Hri. The seed syllables gradually transform in representing our qualities that develop. From our secret chakra, from a Ri, it transforms into a double Vajra marked by Ri. At our navel, from Tram, Tram transformed into a jewel marked by Tram. At our heart, from Hum, a Vajra marked by Hum. At our throat, from A, a red lotus flower marked by A. And at our crown chakra, from Om, is transformed into a crown, into a Dharma wheel, a white Dharma wheel marked by Om. The symbols transform into the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, representing our qualities that have developed to their maximum potential. At our crown chakra, the supreme healer Vairochana appears, white with the mudra of teaching the Dharma. At our throat, there's a red Amitabha with the mudra of meditative concentration. At our heart, there's blue Akshobhya with the mudra of stability. And at our navel, there's a yellow Ratnasambhava with the mudra of supreme generosity. And at our secret chakra, the supreme healing Buddha Amoghasiddhi arises, green in color with the mudra of no fear.
Dorje so dorje, ton yun dorje. Lama Töngyön Dorje Kyen.
Lama Töngyön Dorje Kyen. At the secret chakra, with the blessings of the Supreme Healer, Guru Buddha Amoghasiddhi, green in color with the mudra of no fear, we receive the bell empowerment, and we purify our secret chakra in the form of dark green Garuda, smoke and dirt. Especially, we purify completely every form of fear, of envy, jealousy, uncertainty, and all the sicknesses that are related to our secret chakra. They are completely eliminated. We receive all the blessings of the Supreme Healer, Guru Buddha Amoghasiddhi, in the form of green light rays and nectar that fills our body, and it blesses us, revitalizes our qualities. We develop the power of realization, the certainty of every action, and the ability to rejoice for the happiness and the virtue of others. Lama Rinpoche Dorje Kyen. At the navel chakra, with the blessings of Supreme Healer Guru Buddha Ratnasambhava, we receive the crown in empowerment, and we experience a new sense of bliss and emptiness, purifying all negativities related to our navel chakra in the form of dark yellow horses, smoke and dirt. Especially, we eliminate completely our arrogance, this sense of superiority, miserliness, material miserliness, emotional, spiritual miserliness, and all sicknesses related to our navel chakra are completely eliminated. We receive all the blessings of Supreme Healer Guru Buddha Ratnasambhava in the form of light, rays, and nectar that are yellow in color, that fill up our body, revitalizing our qualities, developing humility, humbleness, generosity, the generosity to give materially, to give love, to give protection, to give the Dharma, the spiritual path. We develop the wisdom of equanimity and the pure aggregate of sensation. Lama Mikyu Dorje Kyan,
al chakra del
at our
cuore,
heart chakra,
con le
with the
benedizioni del
blessings
Supremo
of
Guaritore
Supreme Healer Guru Budakshobhya,
color blu,
blue in
con il mudra
color,
della
with the mudra
stabilità.
of stability.
Riceviamo le sue
We
benedizioni
receive his
e
blessings
l'iniziazione
and
dell'acqua
the
viva,
water, the vase
generando una nuova
empowerment,
sensazione di
generating
beatitudine va qui
a
dentro,
new sense
purificando
of bliss and
completamente
emptiness that
ogni
purifies
negatività relazionata
all
al
and
chakra del
every
cuore,
negativity related to our
nella
heart
forma di
chakra in
serpenti blu
the
scuro,
form of
fumo nero ed
dark
eshalation.
blue snakes, smoke, and dirt.
Specialmente
Especially,
eliminiamo
we purify
completamente
completely
ogni forma di rabbia,
any form and all forms of
odio,
anger, hate,
rancore,
hatred, resentment,
avversione,
aversion,
nervosismo,
nervousness,
aggressività,
aggression,
violenza.
violence.
Eliminiamo
We
completamente ogni
completely
forma di
eliminate
tristezza,
every form of sadness,
impazienza,
impatience,
instabilità,
instability,
ansia,
anxiety,
depressione
depression,
e tutte le malattie
and
relative
all the
al chakra del
sicknesses that are
cuore
related
vengono
to the heart
completamente
chakra.
eliminate.
They are completely eliminated.
Riceviamo
We
tutte le
receive
benedizioni del
all the
Supremo Guaritore Guru
blessings of
Buddha
the
Akshobhya
Supreme Healer Guru Buddha
nella forma di
Akshobhya
luce,
in the
nettare
form
blu,
of blue
che
light
riempie il
rays and
nostro
nectar that
corpo
fill
con
up our
vitalità,
body
revitalizza le
and
nostre qualità,
revitalize our
sviluppiamo
qualities. We
così l'amore,
develop
la compassione,
love and
la pazienza,
compassion, patience,
la stabilità interiore,
inner stability,
l'aggregato puro della coscienza,
pure aggregate of
la saggezza
consciousness,
del Dharma
and
Dhatu,
Dharma Dhatu
la
wisdom,
mente
the
in uno
mind
stato equilibrato
in a
e
balanced
pacifico.
and peaceful state.
Om Akshobhya Hum. 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 Lama Dorje Kyen.
Lama Chu Dorje Kyen.
Al chakra della gola,
At our throat
con le
chakra,
benedizioni
with
del
the
Supremo Guaritore
blessings
Guru
of
Buddha
Supreme
Amitabha,
Healer Guru Buddha
color
Amitabha,
rosso,
red
col
in
mudra della
color with the mudra
concentrazione
of
meditativa.
meditative concentration,
Riceviamo
we
l'iniziazione del
receive
Vajra
the
e
Vajra
sperimentiamo una nuova
empowerment and we
sensazione di
experience a new
beatitudine,
sensation of bliss and
purificando
emptiness,
completamente
purifying
tutte le
all
negatività relazionate al
negativities that are
chakra del
related
cuore,
to our throat
nella forma di
chakra in
galene
the
rosse
form
scure,
of
fumo nero
dark
ed
red
exhalation.
hands, smoke, and dirt. Especially,
Eliminiamo
we
completamente
eliminate
l'attaccamento
completely
illimitato,
unlimited attachment,
il desiderio illimitato,
unlimited desire,
l'insoddisfazione,
dissatisfaction,
la mancanza di concentrazione,
lack of concentration,
la parola violenta,
violent speech,
la distrazione interiore
inner
e
distractions,
tutte le malattie
and
relazionate al
all
chakra della
sicknesses
gola
that are
vengono
related to the
completamente
throat
eliminate.
chakra are completely eliminated. We receive all the blessings of Supreme Healer Guru Buddha Amitabha in the form of light rays, red light rays, and nectar that fill up our body, revitalize our qualities. We thus develop satisfaction, concentration, sacred speech, correct discernment.
Om Amitabha Hum. Om Amitabha Hum. Om
Lama Torche Kyan
al chakra del capo,
at the crown chakra
con le benedizioni
with
del
the blessings of Supreme Healer Guru
Buddha
Buddha Vajrayana,
di color bianco,
white in color,
mudra
with the
del Dharma
mudra
chakra,
of
mudra
Dharma
di insegnare il
chakra,
Dharma.
the mudra of teaching the Dharma.
Riceviamo
We
l'iniziazione del
receive
nome,
the name
sperimentiamo
empowerment
una
and we
nuova
experience a
sensazione di
new
beatitudine,
sensation of bliss
purificando tutte le
and
negatività
emptiness, purifying all negativities that are related to the crown chakra
nella forma
in the
di
form
maiali neri,
of
fumo
dark
nero
black
ed espurità.
pigs, smoke, and dirt. Especially,
eliminiamo
we eliminate
completamente ogni
completely
forma di ignoranza,
all forms of
la
ignorance,
visione erronea di se stessi,
the wrong
la visione
view
erronea
of
dei
self, a
fenomeni,
wrong view
l'aggrapparsi a
of
noi stessi,
phenomenon,
no,
grasping at an intrinsic
la mancanza di spazio
view, the
interiore,
lack of inner
l'obesità
space,
mentale e
mental
tutte le malattie relazionate al chakra del capo vengono completamente eliminate.
in, mental obtusity, closed-mindedness, and all sicknesses related to the crown
Riceviamo tutte le
chakra are
benedizioni
eliminated.
del supremo guaritore
We
Guru Buddha
receive
Vajrayana,
all the blessings of the
nella forma
Supreme
di luce
Healer Guru Buddha Vajrayana
che riempie il
in the
nostro
form
corpo,
of
ci beneficia,
white light rays and nectar
revitalizza
that
le
fill up
nostre
our body,
qualità.
revitalizing our
Sviluppiamo
qualities,
così
and
la saggezza,
such we develop
la
wisdom,
corretta
the
visione della
correct
realtà,
view of reality,
l'infinito spazio interiore,
infinite inner space,
l'aggregato puro della forma
the
e la
pure
saggezza
aggregate
chiara
of
come uno specchio.
form and the wisdom and mirror-like wisdom.
Om Aveirochana Hum. Om Aveirochana Hum. Om Aveirochana Hum. Om Aveirochana Hum.
In an instant,
sorgiamo come
we
Buddha
appear
Vajradhara,
as Buddha
l'unione
Vajradhara,
dei 5 Dhyani
the
Buddha,
union of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas,
con il mudra della
with
braccia,
the hugging mudra,
rappresentando che nella
just
perfetta
symbolizes in the perfect
metodo e
union of
saggezza,
method and
di amore
wisdom,
e
of
compassione,
love and compassion,
corretta visione
and
della realtà.
correct view of reality.
In tale unione
In
non
such a
ci sono
union,
più nemici.
there are no more enemies.
Metodo per sviluppare
The
ed equilibrare
method to
l'energia maschile del metodo,
develop and
l'energia
balance
femminile
the
della saggezza,
the male energy
l'energia maschile del metodo
of
nella forma
method
della bodhicitta
and the
bianca,
female energy of
scende dal chakra
wisdom.
del capo,
So the
all'interno del
male
canale centrale,
energy
fino al chakra
of
segreto.
method in the form of a white
Successivamente, l'energia
bodhicitta
femminile della saggezza di natura calda
goes
sale
from
dal chakra segreto nella forma di una
descends
bodhicitta
from the
rossa
crown to the secret chakra,
fino
and
a
then the
raggiungere il
female
chakra
energy of
del capo.
wisdom, the red bodhicitta, goes up from the secret
Successivamente
chakra to the
riprende il flusso
crown, and then
mistico
the
al
two
capo,
energies
alla gola,
united, the
al chakra
crown, the
segreto,
throat, the
all'ombelico
secret
e alla
chakra,
fine
the
si
navel,
misura
and then
al
finally they
tutta
unite at the
l'energia
heart, where
generata
all
si
the
assorbe
energy that's generated
in tutto il contesto,
absorbs at our heart,
generiamo una
within our heart
sensazione
chakra,
profonda
and
di
brings us
beatitudine
to a
nella quale
a very subtle level
realizziamo
of
non
consciousness
coscientemente
where we realize
che ogni cosa,
non-conceptually
anche
that
se appare a noi
everything,
come se
even
fosse di
if it appears
esistenza
as
intrinseca,
being of
autonoma,
intrinsic existence autonomously, in
non è
reality
così,
is not like
vuoto
that, is
di tali
empty of
caratteristiche.
such characteristics. And this brings great bliss.
Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Ri. Om Mani Padme Hum. Ri. Om Ahasuka Hum. 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 Om Vishwa Shanti Hum. Om Vishwa Shanti Hum. Om Vishwa Shanti Hum. Om Vishwa Shanti Hum. Om Vishwa Shanti. Per il potere della verità, pace, gioia, ora e sempre. Per il potere della verità, pace e gioia, ora e sempre. Per il potere della verità, gioia ora e sempre. Da uno stato molto
From a
sottile
very
di
subtle
quietudine,
state of
vacuità,
bliss and
chiara luce
emptiness and
e
clear light,
illuminazione, ossia in uno stato
in
di
a
esistenza
state
molto
of
profondo,
existence that's very, very deep,
in beatitudine,
a state of bliss,
per il beneficio di ogni
for the
essere ci
for the
manifestiamo con un corpo
benefit of
grossolano,
all sentient beings, we manifest with a gross body,
in
with
un
a coarse
istante
body. In an
risorge
instant,
l'universo.
the universe
Noi stessi
arise. We
sorgiamo con
too
un corpo di luce.
arise with a body of
Prendiamo
light.
rifugio nel Guru,
We take
Buddha,
refuge
Dharma,
in
Sangha,
the Guru, in the Buddha, Dharma, and
con Vajra
Sangha,
e campana.
with Vajra and bell
Sosteniamo
in
l'obbligo
hand.
di amore e compassione
We
e la
uphold
saggezza della corretta visione della verità.
method and wisdom.
Impegniamo a sostenere il
We
Dharma, gli
commit
sutra
to
e i tantra,
uphold
di
the
aiutare
Dharma,
gli
the
esseri
sutras,
di
and the
beneficio
tantras to
ad ogni
help
essere che ci circonda,
every being
che
around us,
incontriamo tramite
every
la
being
pratica
that
delle
we
sei
meet
perfezioni.
through the practice of the six perfections.
Lama kuncho sumla kyab suchi rang ni la se do tril sung ne che dong a cho sun yer che ta da dom ge cho kundu chi shin ro ten che dorna ditsu nam krage wetso cinye sapate inyur tu da norbo panzo shambal harke la me lam gerim tar chin sho. Con Om
With Om,
riceviamo le
we
benedizioni di
receive the
corpo nella forma di
blessings of
luce,
the
nettare
body
bianchi che si
in the
assorbe nel
form
nostro
of
corpo.
white light rays and
Ah,
nectar that absorb into our
riceviamo le
body. With
benedizioni di
I,
parola
we receive the blessings of speech
che si assorbe nel
that
nostro corpo nel
absorb
color
into
rosso.
our body,
Con
red in
Hum blu
color, and with a
riceviamo
blue
le
whom we
benedizioni di
receive the
mente di ogni
blessings
essere
of
sacro che si
mind from
assorbe al nostro
every
corpo,
holy being that absorb into
assorbendosi
our
nel corpo di luce
heart,
molto sottile.
absorbing
Con Pe
into our very
eliminiamo
subtle
ogni
winds, and
negatività
with
di
Pe
corpo,
we
parola e mente.
observe,
Con Om Hum A
we with Pei, we purify every negativity of body, speech, and mind.
Michewe se ma tongwa na te ime la mi kyo dorje ku se wa tong ne chi da pa chom rik zi nyurdu to parasho chetsun la me ku tse rap ten chi nam karatin le cho chur ge padang lo san tempe dren me sa sum ki dro we mun se ta tu ne gyur chi ke wa kun tu yanda lama dang dral me che ki pe la long che chi sa dan lam ki yun te rab tso dor che changi ko pan nyur tob sho ni modele tsendele ni me ku yandele kshin ni tsen tak tu delek pe koncho sum ki chingi lo koncho sum ki ngo drubu tsol koncho sum ki trashi sho.
At dawn or at dusk, at night or midday, may the three jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. In this way, we conclude the practice of self-healing together. I don't have much else to say, because if I start, it's not the moment. Tomorrow we have a day of teachings. It will be a moment to share other ideas, the thoughts. I'd just like to remind you that the practice of self-healing is a great gift that Lama Genshin gave us, and it's up to us to take care of this gift, to practice it. It's here for all of us to use, and I invite you all to have your own experience. Those who like to deepen the argument, you can use the modern technology. There are many videos and explanations online. Of course, one needs to study and practice and have your own experience. Also, when we were in Nepal, for example, those who knows the practice of self-healing sees the temples and understands the temples. It's really a key to open up many, many things, including sacred places in Indonesia, in Nepal, in Tibet, in India. That's all for tonight. I thank you for being here. I remind you that shortly there will be the practice of the Guru Puja. You're all welcome to stay to practice together. And we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see each other tomorrow. Thank you very much.